So tell us about the first time you got diagnosed with cancer.
This is Carmela Garthwaite, born October 6, 1938. She is better known as Nanny to myself and my family. She is not only a cancer survivor, but also my hero. This is her story.
I was in my 40s when they first told me I had breast cancer.
For women in the U.S., breast cancer death rates are higher than those of any other cancer besides lung cancer. The most significant risk factors for breast cancer are gender, being a woman, and age, growing older.
And Dr. Kolarczyk took care of me. He's been around for a long time, so I figured he would do a good job. So I lived through that. I didn't need any treatment or anything because all the lymph nodes were negative.
About 1 in 8 U.S. women will develop invasive breast cancer over the course of her lifetime. In 2017, an estimated 252,710 new cases of invasive breast cancer are expected to be diagnosed, along with 63,410 new cases of non-invasive breast cancer.
So I lived through that. I was grateful for that because I lived without any worries for a long time. Then in 2007, had to have a lumpectomy.
Lumpectomy, a surgical operation in which a lump is removed from the breast, typically when cancer is present but has not spread.
Because every year I went for a mammogram, and this time they found something on the mammogram and they wanted to check it. And they took a biopsy.
Mammography, a specific type of breast imaging that uses low-dose X-rays to detect cancer early, when it is most treatable. Biopsy, a medical test commonly performed by a surgeon involving extraction of sample cells or tissues for examination to determine the presence or extent of a disease.
Part of it was malignant and part of it was not malignant, benign. But he said we should do a lumpectomy, and so I said okay. So that's what he did. After I had that, I had to have 6 weeks of radiation.
Radiation therapy uses high-energy radiation to shrink tumors and kill cancer cells.
And everything seemed to be okay for a while. Then they told me I had another tumor, which was breast cancer. It was the same as what I had, so they figured it metastasized. And something that just escaped from the first operation. And I was really surprised about it and mad because I thought I would be all over with this by now. But one thing led to another, and I still on chemotherapy.
Chemotherapy, treatment that uses drugs to stop the growth of cancer cells, either by killing the cells or by stopping them from dividing. Chemotherapy may be given by mouth, injection, or infusion, or on the skin, depending on the type and the stage of the cancer being treated.
All my hair fell out. That was emotional. And then I had to have a port put in. It's the chemo because it's so strong, it's like putting poison in your system, killing everything in sight. So that's what I have to go by. And I just keep after my girls, make sure they have their tests done every year to make sure they're all right. So far, so good. I'm scared, but they give you all this shot here and a shot there, and I guess you get calmed down. But, going into the operation, you don't see anything, you don't hear anything. You just go, you do what they say. So, the prayers got me through the first one really good. Because I prayed to this Blessed Mother. And I used to lay in bed and I used to say, "Cancer, leave my body, leave my body." Go out. Go down to my toes, don't leave. Yeah, I think prayer helped a whole lot. And I'm doing a lot of praying now, and I just hope it works.
In May 2016, Carmela was diagnosed with her third term of breast cancer.
Well, they can't remove it because it's under my breastbone, so they can't get to it. I was hoping this would not be too serious. I asked him, why couldn't he break the breastbone and get this thing out? He said I couldn't do that. I still don't know why he couldn't break the breastbone. I had to go under a special procedure to get a biopsy, for them to get, they take a small part of it and test it, see what it is. And so that's how they found out it was malignant. But they couldn't operate on it, so they said, "You'll have to have chemo." I said, "Okay." Seeing I never had it, I figured, it was going to be 1, 2, 3, it'd be over with. Mm-hmm. But it turns out to be a pain in the neck. Something I wasn't looking forward to. But he keeps on saying, "We have other options." And I'm still waiting to hear them. Have other options. Oh, my mother has uterus cancer.
Uterine sarcoma is a disease in which malignant cancer cells form in the muscles of the uterus or other tissues that support the uterus.
I don't know how old I was, but I was too young, I guess, to remember exactly what was going on. All I know is that she went to the hospital, and that's all I knew. So she came home, and she got all better. But my mother was always having something wrong with her, because she was the first one in her family to die. There's 6 kids. We have 2 brothers, and Thomas and James. They were both involved in the gas station business. Everybody helped me out. They came to the hospital, cheer me up. Pop take me to my visits all the time and telling me encouraging words.
Not only did Carmela have multiple terms with breast cancer, she also had an ovarian cancer scare as well.
And I had one on my ovaries, and they took that out, and that was benign too. I was happy that they got that out. So the first time I went, he was going to examine me and stuff, and I had to get up on the table and everything. Well, I had on one blue shoe and one brown shoe. And I told him, I said, I wasn't drinking or anything. I just, it was dark in the room when I got dressed, and that's what I got to put on my feet. We had a good laugh on that. So that was like a good experience too, because everything was benign. Had this Castleman's disease, which no one ever heard of.
Castleman disease, a rare disease of lymph nodes and related tissues.
But, I never realized that I was really getting old, because I never felt old. I always felt I was, I never worried about my health. I just carried on from day to day. And, but then one day I realized, gee, I'm 79 years old. So I I says, no wonder I'm having all these problems, you know? So it was like I was okay, and then all of a sudden the clock changed and I was old. And that's it. Amen.
Tell myself what the hell I'm supposed to do.